Dimensional analysis presentation. At the end of the presentation, you should be able to answer these three questions. So what is dimensional analysis? It's just a way to solve complicated problems using conversion factors. All you have to do is keep track of units. It's super simple. So for example, if we want to convert $120 to quarters, you're going to start what they gave you, which is $120. And then you're going to multiply it by a conversion factor. And this would be our conversion factor. And you know that in every dollar, there's 4 quarters. So you'd set it up so that your dollars cancel. 120 times 4 is 480 quarters. So your conversion factors always equal 1. And if you multiply anything by 1, it's not going to affect your answer. Some of these conversion factors you'll just know, like 4 quarters and a dollar. And some I'm going to make you memorize. So how many feet are in 24 inches? So what you do is you start with your given value, then multiply it by a unit factor or conversion factor, and you'll get the unit that you asked for. You always multiply across the top and divide by what you have on the bottom. So how many feet in 24 inches? We start with 24 inches. I know that in every foot there's 12 inches. My inches cancel out. I'm left with feet, which is what the problem wants. 24 divided by 2, or 24 divided by 12 gets me 2 feet. How many inches in 2.8 miles? So I'm going to start with my given value, 2.18 miles. Draw my little table. And then I'm going to use my conversion factor. And I know that for every mile, there's 5,280 feet. And do you see how I put mile on the bottom? I want it to be able to cancel out. I can only cross cancel. If I had put miles up here at the end of my answer, I would have gotten miles squared, and I don't want that. So my miles cancel, I'm left with feet. Oh, it wants inches. Oops. Wants inches. See how your units tell you everything? So I know in 1 foot, there's 12 inches. So my feet cancel out, left with inches, which is what the problem asks for. And I'm going to multiply across the top and divide by what I have on the bottom. So 2.18 times 5,280 times 12 inches, and you get okay. Now, we have to put our answer in significant figures. Since these are our conversion factors, these are what we call exact numbers. They have an infinite number of significant figures, so we're going to ignore those and just look at our given. Our given has 1, 2, 3 sig figs. So that's what our answer needs to be in. So I just want to keep these first digits. I'm going to look at this digit to round this digit. So I'm going to get 138,000. Right? Is this a correct answer? No, it's not, because I don't have inches. You got to have your units. If you don't have your units, it's wrong. Okay, 86 inches into meters. So I'm going to start with my given, 86 inches. Draw my little table. I know in 1 inch, there's 2.54 centimeters. My inches cancel. I have centimeters, but the problem wants meters. So I have to keep going. I know there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. My centimeters cancel out. I'm left with meters. That's what the problem wants. So now I can do the math. 86 times 2.54 divided by 100, which gives me 2.1844. I ignore the conversion factors because they're exact numbers. I just look at my given here, which has 2 sig figs. So I need 2 sig figs here. So I want to round to this decimal place. I look at this number to see how I round. 2.2 meters. Got to have my units. Now the 1 inch to 2.5 centimeters, that's probably something I'll give you, but eventually these are things you're just going to have to know. You need to know there's 100 centimeters in a meter. You need to know there's 1,000 millimeters in a meter. If it's something weird, I'll probably give it to you like the 5,280 feet in a mile. It'll be in the problem. All right, let's try another one. Go ahead and pause the video, see if you can do this one on your own. So I'm going to start with my given, which is 1.54 times 10 to the negative 10 meters. Draw my little table. And I know that in 1 meter, there's 1,000 millimeters, something you just have to know. My meters cancel. I'm left with millimeters, which is what the problem wanted. And I end up with 1.54 times 10 to the negative 7. So I'm going to ignore the sig figs in my exact number. Look over here. I've got 1, 2, 3. Remember, anything to the left of the times 10 is significant. I've got the same thing here, so we're good. All I'm missing is my units. Millimeters. Alright, go ahead and try in this one. Pause the video. We want to take 60 miles per hour and convert it into feet per second. So they give us 60 miles per hour. So 60 miles per, it just means it's going to go at the bottom. 1 hour. Okay. It doesn't matter which unit you start to convert with. Just pick one and then do the other one. So 60 miles, I know in 1 mile, there's 5,280 feet. My miles cancel. I'm left with feet. It wanted feet, so that's good. I can stop there. And now I can look at my hours. I want them in seconds. Okay, well I know in 1 hour. See where I put my hours so that they would cancel? In 1 hour, there's 60 minutes. My hours cancel. I'm left with minutes, but the problem wants seconds. And I know in 1 minute, there's 60 seconds. See, I don't even know like how to figure this out. All I have to do is match up my units and then multiply across the top, divide by what's on the bottom. I don't even really have to think, well, gee, if I multiply this and divide, I don't know. I couldn't do it that way. So my minutes cancel, left with feet per second. So I'm good to go. Do the math. 60 times 5,280 divided by 60 again gives us 88 feet per second. Let's look at our sig figs. All these are exact numbers, so we're not going to worry about it. Let's look at our given. We have a 6 and a 0. Does this 0 count? No, because there's not a decimal point. If there's a decimal point, it counts. So I just have one significant figure, so I need to round this to 90 feet per second. Okay. All right, go ahead and pause the video again. Try and do this one, and then come back, check your answer. A car consumes 25 gallons of fuel when driving a distance of 400 kilometers. How many gallons will it consume when driving 250 miles? Okay, so our given is 250 miles. And I know in 1 mile, 5,280 feet. And I know in 1 foot, there's 12 inches. We're gonna make this gonna be a long one. I know in 1 inch, there's 2.54 centimeters. I know there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. And whoops, I know that there's 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. Okay, so all those canceled out, and I got into kilometers. but they want to know gallons. So if you look back in the problem, it says, well, there's 25 gallons of fuel consumed when you drive 400 kilometers. So that's a conversion factor that they've given you in the problem. So for every 400 kilometers, you consume 25 gallons. Okay. So my kilometers cancel. I'm left with gallons, which is what the problem wants, right? How many gallons? Now I can just do the math. 250 times 5,280 times 12 times 2.54 divided by 100 divided by 1,000 divided by 400. Oops, I forgot this. Just go ahead and multiply it by 25. And you should get 25.146. I need to put it in sig figs. So I'm going to go all the way back to my given and count how many sig figs I have. 1, 2. This counts because of the decimal. Does this decimal count? I know I have 3. What about this 0? That 0 counts. So I need 3 sig figs. Oops, 3 sig figs. If I had a 1 over here, then this 0 would count. But until I have something after that 0, it doesn't count. So I need to round to 3 sig figs. Look at this. It's not above 5, so 25.1 gallons is my answer. All right, if you can't answer the questions at the beginning of this presentation, then you need to watch it again.